I'm a little quick. We've got Black Knight. Hit him with it.
Hello.
We've got CGB Zod with us today.
Hello.
And Hefe.
What's up?
So, a little bit different topic for Cloud Chat today. We're going to be talking about the legality of different publishers preventing cloud services from using their games. Now, we don't know the legal question of this. I feel like Europe would be a more protected place for the consumer, but a lot of these companies are based off of American law. And I kind of hope it goes to court in Europe and gets answered, but you've got an outlier here in Boosteroid. Boosteroid, we know, does not play nice with these developers. They put a game on their service, and that's just how it is. Like, it's on their service now.
And the thing is, I know because they've told me that they do talk to the publishers for a number of games.
Mm-hmm.
So they do talk to them. It's just it's not everyone. It's not all publishers.
I mean, I'm at least a fan of that they do this because I feel like someone needs to challenge these publishers. Because remember, none of these places we are renting games from, right? This isn't Black Nut. Black Nut's providing your games, right? This isn't,
Right.
So these are GeForce Now and Boosteroid. They're allowing us to play games that we already own. They're not.
Yeah.
This isn't Netflix. This isn't Amazon Prime. These aren't companies that are depending on the money that they get from the subscription to pay the bills. We've already paid for the game.
We own it, and we're just finding a way to play it.
We're playing it on a different computer. Is it any different than playing a game at your friend's house? Is it any different than setting up your PC at home to allow you to play on your phone or at work using cloud software?
Right.
That's the question here. And it's a little messed up that they can tell these companies that they cannot let someone play a game they already bought. That's the bottom line of the question here.
Yeah.
So, back to the point about Europe versus the United States, Europe tends to have better consumer protections than the United States.
It seems like that because
like Steam certainly treats Europeans differently.
yeah, every platform that's in outside of the US gets it doesn't seem like they ever get touched.
Do they have a legal foot to stand on? Can Rockstar tell Boosteroid, no, you can't run our game? Can Blizzard tell you, no, you can't run our game on another PC?
Yeah. Well, I mean, Blizzard has that the whole thing in the terms that there's a clause about you can't play on cloud.
Yes.
On unauthenticated cloud servers or cloud services.
Oh,
that is correct.
And I'm just like, why though? Why?
It kind of takes away the convenience of cloud gaming. You have the ability to play the games that you bought on different platforms, but when they say no, then it's like it kind of takes away really what's so special about it.
Well, the thing is, it's like they have a whole Blizzard has a huge thing about cheating, right?
Mm-hmm.
And going to cloud aspects, especially if you're a plug and pick up and play model, that would help that cause of the cheating.
It's not like you can install cheating mods on GeForce Now and get in there. You are correct. They would definitely be against that. Now, I have read what Blizzard's explanation is.
Really?
Oh, yeah. But Blizzard's official explanation, or thing I've read them discuss it before, is that they have a very high standard for what they want their games to feel like. And they feel that cloud games aren't going to give you the same experience you'd get elsewhere. That is the only explanation I've ever heard.
That's BS.
I agree. I guarantee if I give my maximum settings account to someone who's running an ancient PC, they're going to have a better time on my maximum settings account.
I guarantee if someone looks at what I'm playing right now, 4K, it looks a lot better than a lot of people's setups at home.
Correct. But that's what I've heard, and they can't really judge it as much. Another thing I've heard that is reasonable. We all know we can't play Valorant on cloud. We've been trying.
Yes.
Can't do it. That's because their anti-cheat is so very harsh.
Yes, it's kernel level, which every time it senses a virtual machine, it says, "Hey, no."
Correct.
And that was the same. That was the same thing with Genshin Impact for a while, and then they, the developers, limit it to certain different VMs. They allow GeForce Now, obviously, and and Boosteroid maybe.
Yeah,
I'm not sure
I think,
if it's legit with Boosteroid, but I think that would make sense because they don't have Genshin Impact on their install section, so they must
Yeah.
allow it.
They must. That's funny. that's interesting. So they can make exceptions for these companies. So that's another
Yes.
reason that they wouldn't necessarily want to enable cloud, though, or if they would want a little money to do so, is if it takes actual man effort to alter these games to be playable on the cloud. So if you have to put man hours into your anti-cheat, I could see why you would deny people putting it on your cloud. Fair enough. But then explain why we don't have Elden Ring on GeForce Now.
Yeah, I mean, I guess
there's
that,
anti-cheat
that-
in there, yeah, but what about another single-player game that's not going to have anti-cheat that we don't have on GeForce Now that we just really want to play? Elden Ring came to mind, but
Well, I mean, Elden Ring is a big one,
I
but
know.
there's a good chance that Elden Ring might come because Bandai has opted in several games right now. It's on Steam DB. And they've opted in, and that's public.
that's good. I'd
Yeah,
like to
it's good.
get
So, but
more
I
of
mean,
that.
Elden Ring is not opted in.
Nope.
But I mean, that could be a thing. That could be something that's being talked about. I don't know.
Yeah. So, what do you believe, though? All three of you. Should it be legal that these companies can prevent you from using your game on a cloud service?
I mean,
Me, no. Because of course, I don't care. If you have a method to play your game, you bought it.
yeah.
Why is there?
Yeah.
Why would anybody limit you to that?
Yeah,
Right.
I bought it. Why do I have to have you tell me how I play it?
Yeah.
So again, this is consumer friendly. Hefe, what's your thoughts, bro?
I mean, yeah, no, I agree. I mean, I don't think we should be, told, when and how we should be able to play the games that we bought. Like you said, it's not like, other platforms where they're providing to, and that's an issue. Like we actually have to own the games to play them, so we should be able to play them whenever we want.
Correct. So, obviously, as consumers, we want more stuff. GeForce Now wants as many games as possible on there.
Oh, of course.
But they're playing nice with the publishers. Like, they want to have good relationships with the publishers. Boosteroid seems to want good relations, but they also don't care if the publishers are going to play dirty with them.
Yeah.
And that leads us to the next point. Why hasn't Boosteroid been sued yet?
Yes.
I'm waiting for it. I want to see it.
I don't know.
And it's not because I want Boosteroid to lose.
Yeah.
I want a
yeah.
legal precedent where we either A, have our consumer rights stripped and we can complain about it and get changes made, or I want a precedent where Boosteroid wins and now these developers don't get to decide who gets to run their games.
Yeah, and it seems like if someone does and then loses, the floodgates will open.
Yes. I want it so bad. But nobody's suing them yet. And I really would like to see it because I want to see that precedent. And I hope that consumers get protected here, but in America, that's not always how it works.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's true.
So
There's no news of that, of anyone even pursuing that. Has there like been any news about that, or has
I
anyone
haven't seen
other
anything
than
about
like
Boostroid
anyone
getting
else
sued.
bring that up?
I don't know.
I think a lot of these platforms might be just too scared to actually say no when a publisher says, "Hey, get our game off," and they just do it.
Basically, yeah. But a lot of the smaller ones, like, all right, let's look at Shrine. Shrine's dead, right? So we can talk about Shrine. So you look at Shrine. If someone approached Shrine and said, "Hey, we're going to sue you unless you do something," Shrine was too small to do anything. They're going to bend backwards and just deal with it. Like, they just don't have the resources.
Yeah.
Nvidia certainly has the resources, but they're playing
Yep.
nice. They're going to do what the developers want. At least that's what they've been posturing towards. Boosteroid is poised to be number 2 now, and they're making moves. They're getting on like TVs. They're making moves to make a play for power and really become the solid, definite number 2. Right?
Yep.
They're probably going to have the resources to defend themselves, and they're going to have to because their livelihoods depend on it.
Yep. It sure does.
Yeah. So, let's talk about their install and play option, which is their workaround. Now, I think that this serves 2 different possibilities. One is, they can use it to, get around the developers denying them the ability to put their stuff on their ready-to-play option. But it also leaves it ambiguous. It makes it slightly harder to sue them. It also gives the developers an out to not sue Boosteroid. Like, think of it that way. Had they just brazenly just added everything and didn't care, that would be very different than them at least creating this excuse that it's legal so that maybe these companies have a reason not to sue them. Because, again, I think developers are afraid to pursue this legally because if they lose, they're in trouble.
Yeah. Yeah.
I could even see the install and play option being suggested by a developer who didn't,
Well, my thought was, if they really wanted to make sure that, if they were protected, just make everything install and play.
Uh-huh.
I don't see why they wouldn't do that, because every game might have a liability somehow, some way, and if you just do install and play, or make it seem like an install and play, you'd be covered.
I like your wording there. Anyway. Fair enough. So what happens if this goes to court and the developers win? You plug in these pick up and play services like Boosteroid, like GeForce Now. They are not allowed to put a game on without a developer's permission. How does that change the future?
Well, it's kind of the
Cloud?
scary thing because we don't know, could it kind of get to the point where every developer wants to kind of splinter up and do their own thing? And so now
Absolutely.
we have a ton of different platforms, and you just like video stream services, you have to buy each one just to play a game.
I mean, that's the end game, but we're far too early in cloud infancy for that. Right now, with cloud gaming, we're like when there was only Netflix, right?
Yeah. Yep.
These companies want to get paid to have their services on cloud. So just back when there was only Netflix, nobody cared. I'll sell my stuff to Netflix for a cheap price. It's just extra money. This was before Netflix took cable out.
Yep.
Now, once everybody realized, oh crap, we need to get on this, cable TV is dying.
Yep.
Well, that changed the game. Now everybody wants to hoard content. They want exclusives to force people to pay their monthly fee. We're not at that point. And
No,
that's
we're
what
not.
I'm afraid of. I don't want to see cloud gaming become what video streaming has. It's a terrifying
And
prospect.
I see it happening because, companies, hashtag greed. So
Yay, capitalism!
Yay, capitalism! Yeah,
We did it.
and that's I see that happening. And if EA with their Project Atlas, and if I do see Ubisoft Plus doing the same thing, because they've all lined up to kind of do that. If that happens, everyone's just gonna do it.
Yeah. Let me give a quick synopsis of Project Atlas, just for anyone who's not familiar with it. This is something announced in like 2018 by Electronic Arts, back when Ken Moss was in charge. It was supposed to be a marriage of cloud tech, AI tech, social programs. They were trying to transform gaming and combine things to create new experiences. And we're not talking about specifically, visual
Just
stuff.
cloud.
We're talking about them trying to have users create things. They want more user created content. They want more, and they're talking about cloud gaming. And part of that was working on the cloud. So Project Atlas, I don't even know if it's still going because obviously Ken Moss is long gone. They still have to sign up for it. I know that, but
Sure do.
yeah. That's a tale for another day. But
Link in the description.
but what Project Atlas appeared to be was kind of an amalgamation of all gaming services. They were going to have friends lists together. They were going to have matchmaking built into that. They were going to allow people to use tools integrated with their Frostbite game engine to create new user-generated content. And then they were going to have AI built into that as well. And they kept talking about how they were going to teach AI to do things that they didn't want, artists to do anymore. And it's a weird situation. So it's just another way for them to gain data. But the bottom line to that is that part of it was a cloud service. And if EA wanted their own cloud service, they don't want their games on anyone else's cloud service.
Yep.
Can they legally stop you from playing your game on another cloud service? That's more complicated.
Yeah, it is more complicated. And the thing is, it's like, is it just another computer? I mean, at that point, that's the way we could all see it. Yeah, that's how we all view it.
But there's other legal ways to approach it. They could do terms of service, the way Blizzard does. They could forbid you from playing it under certain conditions. There's ways to fight the user here, but if it hurts their sales, they'll probably back off.
Yeah,
It's always about money with these guys. So
I know.
I mean, we saw. I don't know if y'all were paying attention to the whole Dungeons and Dragons debacle that happened recently, but Wizards of the Coast wanted more money, and the community rose up and basically ripped them open, and they completely reneged on everything. They're going back. They're giving everyone what they wanted, but the damage is already done. People left their property in droves. So
Yeah.
It's going to be a delicate game of public perception, because what happened to Wizards of the Coast could very easily happen to one of these other people. So they have to be careful. That's all.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting the next couple of years.
I know. As we get more of these, if Ubisoft creates their own cloud service, if EA pushes forth with theirs, we're going to start seeing the fracturing of content. And we really need to come up with a legal precedent, or something's got to give, because if it goes the way that video content did, we don't all, like, cloud gaming is not going to make it. Cloud gaming is nowhere near the strength that video streaming is.
Video platforms.
Yeah.
If people are expected to subscribe to 4 different cloud gaming services, not going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're just going
I
to
would-
abandon it
Yeah,
altogether.
Yes.
yep.
And that'll
I
be the
would
death
say
of
that.
something that's really, really cool. But it's
Yeah,
going to
gamers
be
are-
these developers, and if they think they have the right to prevent you from playing games you've already bought on a cloud service, that'll be what kills it.
Yep.
How much money can they get? We know how corporations work. That's always the bottom line.
Yep,
a pain.
that is the bottom line. Because I mean, I guess it might come down to, hey, our systems, they're gonna have to buy their stuff from Nvidia anyways. So it might come down to this point: can we compete with Nvidia for running our games on our own servers versus Nvidia's service? Because I'm looking at it from a a management point of view. It's like I don't want to maintain this.
Yeah.
You know, that's just me though.
I mean,
Like, I wouldn't want to maintain it. I don't want to own these servers, because that stuff is expensive. You know, and then buying it from Nvidia itself would be going into competition with them. It's like, would they even give us the right stuff? You know what I'm saying? It is Nvidia.
they'd make you pay for it, or they might keep you a step
And they make
behind.
you exactly
Yep.
they
Yeah, the best we can
hike
do for
up-
you is 3080s.
right. Or hey, we're low on the 4080s. These are going to be top dollar.
Well, they have a number of options too. They could rent stuff from AWS. They could.
They could.
They could rent stuff from Google. We know Google still got that infrastructure lined up. They're just not doing anything with it.
That's very true. But you know, what do they use? They use Nvidia stuff.
They do.
And let's say if they Intel has their own cloud gaming service too, it might be the same thing.
Yeah, Intel I think is more likely because remember, didn't they buy Vortex?
They did.
So they bought Vortex, and they've been
Vortex.
quiet for years since they did that.
They have been quiet.
And they're working on GPUs now.
Yes, we're working on GPUs, and I think they're giving that a go. And then we're seeing how the cloud gaming service would be implemented. Because I mean, if you're just gonna buy it, right? I mean, I don't know. I don't know their game plan. So
Well, here's another question for you then. Let's say that it goes bad in America, but Europe protects the consumer. Do these companies care? Do they abandon ship? Could Europe save us from the greed of America?
maybe.
There's
Yes.
a lot of people in Europe.
I would say yes.
I feel like the European market might be our redemption.
The thing is, establish everything in Europe, and then have your services, available in the U.S. That's what
You mean,
Boosteroid's
like,
doing.
Boosteroid?
That's what Boosteroid's doing. So
Save
it
us,
could work.
Boosteroid.
it could work.
Yeah. Oh, man. So,
Was there a middle ground with all this then?
right now, the middle ground is this ambiguous crap we're dealing with right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
I heard this thing called the Cloud Act. Now I don't know if that has anything to do with what we're kind of talking about. I haven't really looked it up.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with. You'll have to tell me
Yeah.
about what that is.
Yeah.
But I heard Shadow talking about it. So in one of their videos, I'm not too familiar with it. I really have to look it up. But yeah, I mean, if you want to look it up and take a look at it, but yeah, that's
Might be
It has to
something
do with-
to look at.
kind of what we're talking about.
Okay. Yeah, that one I'm not familiar with. Oh man. So, what we can just to recap, we got publishers that are like set in stone. Publishers that know they're a draw, so to speak. Like they know that they're why people are coming to the dance. They're withholding their games because they want more money, or they want to harvest their own. Like in the possibility with Atlas, they want to maybe do their own service in the future.
Yep.
Yep. We've got GeForce Now that's playing nice with the publishers, which is fair. I mean, there's no reason to fight them if they can get by without. Although Boosteroid's library is kicking the crap out of GeForce Now's because they aren't playing nice.
Yeah.
Then we've got Boosteroid who's pushing the envelope. They haven't been sued yet, but like I said, I'd love to see it, and I hope they win. And we know that if it goes bad for us, we're in for a rough future. It's a future where everything's going to be split up. Only the highest bidders can afford to get games on their services, or we're going to have to subscribe to each individual service just to get everything we want to play. It's not
Kind of
going to
like
be
we
good.
do with video now, and
Yep.
that's
It's not what
that's
we want.
smelly.
Yeah. Alternatively, if the law goes against the developers, that's going to open the floodgates in the other direction, and maybe we'll see more pick up and play services besides just the big two that we're dealing with right now.
Right. Yep. Which would be, I can't say if that would be desirable or not.
I don't know, but competition never hurts us. But at
Yeah.
the same time, I gotta say, Boosteroid's playing it well, because if they do get taken to court and they hold that line, they are now well positioned to be by far the number one. Doesn't care what the publisher thinks company, and they're going to de facto kind of be, that number two company. They're going to be the Pepsi to the Coke. They're going to be the WCW to the WWF. They're going to be that number two, and they're gonna be there forever, unless there's some crazy mismanagement. They're in a great spot.
They are in a great spot. Yes. Stadia's death is, I'm not going to say a blessing, but it's a blessing.
Well, the way Google was trying to be Apple, I think that them dying was better for the consumer for sure. They wanted the closed garden. They didn't want the future that we're talking about that we want. This open future where we can play what we want. They were
Yes.
part of the problem.
Yes and no, because I get a lot of comments saying Stadia was great because I didn't have to log in. I didn't have to buy games somewhere else. I just buy it at Stadia and play it on Stadia.
But that was kind of the thing, though, is like they had, if they wanted to be exclusive, cool, but they didn't have the content, like as far as the games.
I'm about to blow your mind. Here we go. GeForce Now. Lets you enter the Steam store in GeForce Now. Done. Problem solved.
Yeah, I know. Well, hey,
Steam ain't gonna complain.
no. What I see is, hey, you download Steam and you get access directly to GeForce Now. So, hey, play this game right now through GeForce Now, integrated with Steam.
Hey, I would be cool with that.
I mean, it's already integrated within the developer's tools. So
That's it.
that is it.
So, what do you guys think? What's your predictions? Are we gonna get the good future or the bad future?
Oh, I don't know.
Well, I'm awfully the pessimist person. So
You're going corporations win and we get a terrible split cloud gaming future.
Probably, yeah. It's probably going that route. Cause
I'm gonna argue. I'm gonna say I think we might get some consumer protections this time. I'm gonna go in that regards, because I think if it comes down to it, and there's a, like, let's say Boosteroid is put to the test, GeForce Now is not going to try to get Boosteroid killed, because this benefits them. I think they're going to be silently complicit in helping this along, and because it helps them too.
Yeah.
And I wanna hope that consumer protections aren't completely dead in the United States. I would really like that. So I'm gonna hope for the best.
Yeah.
That kind of leaves us where at the end of this. Does anyone have any final thoughts, or?
I don't know if we actually discussed it, but when we were talking about how publishers wouldn't want their game on a service.
Yep.
Did we ever talk about maybe the publishers afraid that the consumer would, I would say, not like mistake the performance of the actual game versus the service? That's like, I didn't know if we talked about that, because
I mean, like,
if you're playing the game and then like you're lagging, okay,
Yes.
is the average gamer going to say, oh, that's the game, therefore
No, I see what you
the
mean.
publisher, or is that the service?
And I think that's one of the things that Blizzard was worried about, and that was their only good point I thought they made. But I think if you're service is reputable, like GeForce Now or even Boosteroid, it's not really a problem. The average home user is gonna have more internet problems than your service is. But you are adding another link in the chain, and we all know how these tech chains work. The weakest link is what you get, and you're still gonna have to deal with the home user's internet regardless.
Yeah.
That's a fair point. There is that worry, but I still think that's a smokescreen, and they're more concerned with just getting a piece of the pie when they know that they're the prettiest girl at the dance, so to speak, and they know publishers are going to pay for them.
Yeah.
I think everybody wants a check from Nvidia, and Nvidia's only handing out them checks sporadically, and Boosteroid's not handing out them checks at all. We'll see how it goes, because it's going to come to a head, because Boosteroid's taken more liberties, and I think GeForce Now users are getting fed up. I mean, you've seen the comments in our videos. They are pissed. They want these games, and they don't get them.
And they don't get them.
I like our Ninja Turtle squad here, by the way. Like, this is good. Sorry, looking at the game. Well, I think that wraps it up. We'll see where it goes. We'll see where the law takes us. Whether or not we see a bright cloud gaming future where consumers can play their games on the platform of their choice, or if we have the dark future where everything is split up and we are screwed.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Yeah, I guess we'll find out.
We will find
As
out.
time goes on.
That's it, boys. I'm a little quick with Black Knight, Hefe, and Zod. We'll catch you next time.
See ya.
See?
Peace.